but there are three classes in the morning. Meveis Hashem Avakesh Oisa Avakesh Hold on, high five. Shivti Beveis Hashem Kol Yemei Chavayoi Ilach Hazais Benoyam Hashem Levake Becholoi Shivti Beveis Hashem Kol Yemei Chavayoi Ilach Hazais Benoyam Hashem Levake Becholoi Didai la da 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 la da 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 di da 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 di da 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 di da 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 la da 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 la da 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 ai dai dai dai. Page 84. Blow the shofar b'chodesh on Rosh Chodesh. This is referring to Rosh Hashanah. B'kesel liyem chagenu, on the day of our holiday. B'kesel, what does b'kesel mean? Covered up. So the Torah says, "Tikei b'chodesh shofar." In other words, what's the covered up? The holiday, the one holiday we have when the moon is covered up, right? As we don't have any holidays on Rosh Chodesh. All our holidays are, with the exception of Yom Kippur, and Shavuos, which are in the Shavuos is on the 7th of the month, so you've got half moon, right? Yom Kippur is on the 10th, you've already got more than half. 3/4 moon. But then Sukkot and Pesach are on the 15th, full moon, right? So you have to understand that these are not coincidental things. Understand that the Lubavitch Rebbe taught and others teach, all these seemingly coincidental details are actually meaningful. Okay? So Tikei b'chodesh shofar. So blow the shofar on b'chodesh, right, which we understand to mean on Rosh Hashanah, which is the holiday that comes when the moon is covered up. Rosh Hashanah nikra kan chodesh. So here in this verse, Rosh Hashanah is being referred to as chodesh. right? מפני שהעיקר בראש השנה הוא ממש להתחיל מחדש. Because the main thing about Rosh Hashanah is to begin anew. אבל לא להתחיל שוב מחדש. But don't make the mistake of thinking that it means we're starting again. אם אני מתחיל שוב מחדש, if I'm just starting again, זה כבר לא חדש. Then it's already not new. זה כבר זקן ושבע הימים, it's already something old. But what we're talking about is אלא ממש מחדש. We're talking about like really from anew. מדוע אנחנו סופרים על פי הלבנה? Why is the Jewish calendar a lunar calendar? מפני שאנחנו יודעים את הסוד, because we know the secret, שאור הלבנה בכל חודש זה אור חדש לגמרי. Because we know the secret that the new moon, the light of the new moon is actually a completely new light. זה לא האור של החודש שעבר. It's not the light of the previous month that being started again. It's a completely new light. Some people might argue with me and with us in saying that. No, it's just a repetition. So the answer is, you just don't know the secret. You just don't know the secret. It is new light. But you don't see it that way. Okay, but that's because secrets are not revealed. Okay? The truth is every moment is a new moment. Like we say, so the secret is that the light of the new moon is a totally new light. As so when the holiday which we celebrate when the moon is covered, not visible, B'leil Rosh Hashanah, the night of Rosh Hashanah, כשהלבנה מתחדשת, when the moon is being renewed, אני מתחדש יחד איתה. I too need to be renewed together with it.
So we're saying it's not a renewal.
Right. It's new.
It's the beginning.
It's new.
Something new.
Okay. אתם יודעים, זה לא קל להתחדש. Right? As you know, it's not easy to renew, to be renewed, to be new. גם הלבנה כשהיא מתחדשת, also the moon, when it's being renewed, היא צועקת, is screaming, גוואלד, הייתי פעם מלאה. Once I was full. עכשיו אני צריכה להתחיל את הכל מחדש. Now I have to start everything again. ובכל זאת, היא שמחה. Nevertheless, she's happy. Baruch Hashem, אני מתחילה שוב להאיר. Baruch Hashem, I'm starting to give light again. צריך ללמוד מהלבנה, we have to take a lesson from the moon, שיש לה הכוח להתחיל כל פעם מחדש, that it has the energy to start anew every time. גם אני בראש השנה לא מתלונן על כל מה שעבר עליי. Rosh Hashanah, I don't complain about everything that has happened in my life. מה שהיה, היה. Was is given is given. What was. אני ממש מתחיל מחדש, I'm ממש beginning totally new. בכסר ליום חגנו, on the day in which the holiday which the moon is still concealed, יש מדרש כל כך יפה, there's a beautiful teaching, המדרש אומר שהקדוש ברוך הוא דן אותנו על כל הטעויות שלנו, על פי שני עדים. It's a medrash that says that God, when God judges us, he judges us by two witnesses, with two witnesses. And who are they? החמה והלבנה, the sun and the moon. בראש השנה, but ראש השנה, מפני שהלבנה אוהבת את עם ישראל, because the moon loves the Jewish people, היא לא מוכנה להעיד עליו לרעה. she's not prepared to testify badly about the Jewish people. Therefore, she is concealed. So that there shouldn't be two witnesses. The holiday that we celebrate and the moon is concealed. There's another explanation on these words. Rosh Hashanah Kadosh Baruch Hu dan et haor hamechusah shebenishmatenu, shenistar meitanu legamri. Rosh Hashanah, God is judging the concealed light within our souls, that which is totally concealed from us. Et or haLevana lefamim roim, lefamim roim. The light of the moon, sometimes we see it, sometimes we don't. Chelek mimenu nira, v'chelek bilti nira. Sometimes part of it is visible, part of it is not. Kach gam or haneshama, anachnu chashim rak chelek mimenu. So too with the light of the soul, we sense only a part of it. 86. Hachelek hagadol, hatzad ha'elyon shel haneshama, the big part, the superior part of the soul, nistar meitanu legamri, is completely concealed from us. V'chol shana, and every year, im zochim, if we merit, hu mitgale yoter, more of your soul, more of our soul gets revealed. Rosh Hashanah, when the moon is completely concealed, that means to say, שדנים את הצד העליון הזה של הנשמה, את אותו החלק שעדיין לא יתגלה ועתיד להתגלות. So there's some kind of judgment that's being made on the concealed part of our souls, the part that has not yet been revealed and will be revealed. So what kind of judgment is that going to? What is that judgment about? Any ideas?
If it's concealed from us.
So what's the judgment? What's the union of the judgment? Like, we're talking about a part of the neshama that is pure. What's the judgment?
That we don't want Karma to uncover.
That's a judgment maybe on me, but that's not a judgment on that part of my neshama. But rather, it's a judgment. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a judgment about how much of it is going to get revealed this year. Understand?
The individual.
In the individual, yeah. In other words, we're davening on Rosh Hashanah to be inscribed in the book of life, right? Doesn't mean just if I'm going to be alive or not. It also means like how much Torah am I going to get to learn this year? How much of my soul is going to be revealed this year? How many good deeds am I going to get to do this year? Okay. Now, you have free choice throughout the year on these things, right? But the idea is that is to pray on Rosh Hashanah, also to daven, and we can even say the prayer right now. Eventually, I really would like to learn more Torah. I would like to be more in touch with my neshama, right? So because you need siyata d'shmaya for that, right? You need help from heaven for those things, right? Let's face it, Michal. It's a very lucky thing that we're here in Yerushalayim instead of on Jarvis Street, right? You could have been stuck on Jarvis Street or St. Lawrence, right? You don't know Jarvis Street. You're not from Canada. You've heard of Canada? It's sort of like north of Miami, right? Okay. there's Eskimos walking around and everything.
Oh, they're not.
Right? You want to destroy her education? You don't want to destroy what she learned.
No, but you want to tell her the truth.
Yeah, there are Eskimos walking around.
To the north.
Right, they live in Canada.
What?
The Eskimos live in Canada.
To the north. I'm not in the south. I don't know.
My friend's family came from the part of Canada where the Eskimos were walking around.
Yeah,
Yeah, and her father was like the only Jew there, and then didn't know he was Jewish.
really? What was he doing there?
His family lived there. His parents just didn't really say much about the language.
I guess they really couldn't stand the heat, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So the part of the Shema that is not revealed, it is being judged by how much Torah we're learning.
how much is going to be revealed? Et haor hazeh, the fifth line. Et haor hazeh danim lefnei shu mafia. This light is being judged even before it's manifesting. מפני שבראש השנה נולד האור הזה הטמון עמוק עמוק בליבנו, because this light that's deep in our heart is concealed deep in our heart, is being judged on Rosh Hashanah, is born on Rosh Hashanah. Tem Yadim, al gam al pi hamada, even according to science, Masha Adam Yodei al Yecholto, what a person knows about his capabilities, about his potential. Masha Adam menatzel mitoch ha-potenzial shelo, and as compared to how much of his potential is actually actualized. Maybe it's 5%. That's actually, from what I've heard, is actually pretty high. In other words, most people are not even actualizing 5% of their potential. Most people have not even touched the tip of the yud of their soul. בראש השנה בלילה מתוך החושך והכיסוי מתחיל להאיר אור גדול ועצום. So on Rosh Hashanah night, from within the darkness and the concealment, there begins to shine, to illuminate a great, powerful light. והוא הולך ומאיר כל הלילה עד הבוקר, and it continues to grow and shine all night long until the morning, עד הרגע של תקיעת שופר, till the shofar is blown. So, what in a certain sense, what I think is being said over here is like this, that Rosh Hashanah night when you go to sleep, right, you can add a little prayer saying, Rebbeinu Shalom, please, I want that this night my soul should be so beautifully nourished that in the morning when we're going to blow shofar, I'll be ready to accept all the light that you are willing to give me, and I'm ready to commit myself to reflect it in the world. Was wird sein? Wir sein Tzaddikim. Baderech. Good. You have your bus pass? Good. Okay. On the journey, right.
It's not the destination which God looks at. It's the journey.
It's the journey, right? We know we all agree on the destination, right? Okay, so Ladat Shakol B'Chesed Chinam. So here comes now he's getting into it more. Page 87. One needs to know that it is all a free gift of kindness. חכמינו אומרים שבראש השנה צדיקים גמורים נחתמים לאלתר לחיים. The Gemara says that on Rosh Hashanah, those who are complete tzaddikim are immediately signed into the book of life. If you look at the footnote, number 22 there, it says he's quoting the Gemara. Rosh Hashanah Tet Zayin Amud Beis. Amar Rabbi Chuspadai. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Said Rabbi Chuspadai, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Shlosha Sfarim Niftachin, 3 books are open the Rosh Hashanah. Echad Shel Reshaim Gemurim, 1 book is of those who are completely wicked. Echad Shel Tzadikim Gemurim, and 1 book of the completely righteous. Echad Shel Beinonim, and 1 book of the intermediaries. Tzadikim Gemurim Nechtavim V'Nechtamim L'Alter L'Chaim. The totally righteous are immediately written into and sealed into the book of life. Reshaim Gemurim, the completely wicked, Nechtavim V'Nechtamim L'Alter L'Mita. They're written into the other book, that they're on their way to death, Loyalenu. Beinonim, the intermediates, Tluyin V'Amdin Merosh Hashanah V'Ad Yom Kippurim. They're hanging, they're suspended until Yom Kippur. Zachu, if they merit, Nechtavim L'Chaim, they get written into the book of life. Lo Zachu Nechtavim L'Mitah, not they're written into the other book. That's the Gemara. So, says Reb Shlomo, the 3rd line. I'm sorry, the 2nd line. I want to ask you, Mihem HaTzadikim Ha'ele, who are these righteous people? Kishmu Ma'amrim Kol HaRabbeim, listen to what all the rabbis teach. Kol HaTzadikim Ha'amitiyim, all the true righteous tzadikim. Tzadikim Gemurim Heim Eile Hamaminim Be'emunah Shlema. The completely righteous people are those who believe with perfect faith, complete perfect faith, Shelamrot Shelo Magia Lehem, that despite the fact that they don't deserve it, Lamrot Shelo Magia Lehem Shum Davar, that they believe that they don't deserve anything. They believe with complete faith that Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yitain Lanu Shana Tova. They believe with complete faith that God will give us a good year. You hear what he's saying? He's not defining the completely righteous as people who have been perfect in their behavior, but rather the rabbis are defining them as people who have complete faith that even though they don't think that they deserve anything, they trust that Hashem is going to give them a good year. Do you mind getting the door, please?
So it's not necessarily what one does or doesn't do.
That also counts. But he's now defining what does it mean to be a complete tzaddik. Right?
To have complete faith that God will.
In this context, in this relationship, what does it mean to be a complete tzaddik? He made him smile.
Anybody who disagrees.
Just make sure I can continue seeing him.
No. Let him sit wherever he's comfortable.
He's comfortable over here. The last 2 days he sat over here.
You don't have the air conditioner on now, right?
No,
You do?
No.
Good.
Okay.
No. A Rebbe should not move because.
I'll move on.
It's okay.
No, you sit over here. This is your welcome for.
Okay, we're on page 87.
You're sitting too far from the table.
I want to block your view. His view, your view.
Okay, let's continue. So, what is? See, he's going to explain. Let's see what Reb Shlomo has to say. We're in the 6th line. He says a complete tzaddik, the completely righteous who get inscribed right into the book of life, right on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, they're the ones who believe with complete faith that Hashem is going to give them a good year, even though they don't believe that they deserve it. So he says, "Atem mevinim, im adam choshev magia li." If a person thinks, "I deserve it, I earned it," as bevadai lo magia lo, he for sure doesn't deserve it. Sort of very contrary to what we normally think. Madua tzadikim nechtamim la'alter l'chaim. Why are the tzadikim immediately written into life? Mipnei she'tzadikim yodim be'emet shelo magia lehem klum, because they know, truly know, that they don't deserve anything. Tzadikim amitim yodim shehem adayin lo asu shum davar. The real tzadikim know that they haven't done anything yet. Mishu sha'al pam et hachozeh meLublin. Somebody once asked the Chozeh of Lublin, "Matai asita et ha'avera ha'achona?" When's the last time you did a transgression? Hu hana, and he answered, "B'mkom lishol oti matai asiti et ha'avera ha'achona." Instead of asking me when I did the last transgression, tishal oti, ask me instead, im ei pam asiti mitzvah ketikuna. Ask me instead if I ever did a mitzvah properly. Hu ha'amin, page 88. Hu ha'amin be'emet shadayin lo asa mitzvah achat b'shlemut. He truly believed that he has not yet done a single mitzvah completely.
Who is speaking?
Reb Shlomo.
He's
No,
quoting
he quoted the Chozeh and then now he explained it.
When you say completely, do you mean completely or perfectly or both?
Both. If it's not complete, it's not perfect. If it's not perfect, it's not complete.
Reb Shlomo asked the Chozeh.
No, somebody asked the Chozeh, "When's the last time you did a transgression?"
Yes. So
The Chozeh said, "Instead of asking me when's the last time I did a transgression, why don't you ask me if I ever did a mitzvah perfectly?" And he says, "I haven't done anything yet with perfection." Now it's hard for us to understand, because when we look at a tzaddik and we see the way they do a mitzvah, to us it looks perfect. To us it looks like, wow, like if only I could do it that way, right? But they know, and I'm accepting it on faith over here, is that they know that there's so much more. There's a story with the Shpoler Zayder, one of the early Hasidic masters. One day he came to the town of a friend of his, Reb Wolf Zabarsh, and Reb Wolf let people know that the Shpoler Zayder was in town, that they can come and get brachas. And people came to get blessings, and the Shpoler Zayder insisted that everybody wanted a blessing. He had to give 18 coins for tzedakah, to what he was collecting for. And this man came towards the end of the day, and he said, "My son is," he had a son that Loyolena was really sick. And he says, "I'm not going to be satisfied with you just giving me a bracha. You must come to the house." And he put he put down 54 coins, whatever it was. And he said to the Shpoler Zayder, "I'm not leaving unless you agree that you're going to come." So he agreed. And Reb Wolf is watching the Shpoler Zayder watching every move that he makes, to be inspired, to learn from him. And he sees at the end of the day, the Shpoler Zayder takes out a bag, and all the money that people had dropped off during the day, he was saying 18 coins a bracha, 18 coins a bracha, he's giving the brachas for all these people. Another bracha. Anyway, Reb Wolf ran ahead to this man's house, and he went and he hid behind the curtains in the room where this boy, the sick boy, was. And the Shlomo Zeder shows up, and he goes over to the bed where the boy is lying there, almost lifeless. And he's shaking and shuffling. Then he starts pacing back and forth in the room. He goes over to the bed and he says some prayer and he starts crying. And he's shuffling. Then he goes and he starts pacing back and forth in the room again. And the second time he goes over to the bed and he stands there by the boy and he's crying and he's davening. And then he starts pacing again back and forth in the room. And then a third time he goes approaches the bed and he's standing there shaking and crying. And finally the boy opens his eyes and he says, Tate. And the Shlomo Zeder goes out and says to the father, your son is calling you. And he started to get better quickly. And the Shlomo Zeder goes over to the place in the room where Reb Wolf is hiding. And he says, is that enough? And he leaves. The way I understand that story is that the Shlomo Zeder was basically saying to his friend, okay, so Baruch Hashem, I managed to bring a healing to this child, right? But is that enough? Is that enough? It's not enough, right? A real tzaddik does a mitzvah, and he says, okay, Baruch Hashem, I did a mitzvah. But is it enough? And the real tzaddik never feels that it was enough. Because if Mashiach is not here yet, there's still something missing, right? So Reb Shlomo goes on and he's going to explain this a bit better. Rosh Hashanah, on page 88, Rosh Hashanah, אנחנו בוטחים בקודשא בריך הוא שיהיה טוב. We trust in God that it will be good. לא מפני שמגיע לנו, not because we deserve it, אלא למרות שלא מגיע לנו. But rather, despite the fact that we don't deserve it. לא מגיע לנו, אבל גוואלד אנחנו יודעים שיש לנו אב רחמן. So we don't deserve it, but we know that we have a compassionate father. תארו לעצמכם שאני נכנס לרוטשילד. Imagine I go into Rothschild, לבקש $1,000,000 כדי להקים ישיבה. I go in, I say, Rothschild, I need $1 million to build a yeshiva. ואני אומר לו, אדון רוטשילד, and I say to him, Mr. Rothschild, אתה חייב לתת לנו, you have to give us. כמובן, it's obvious, it's understood, שהוא מיד יקטע אותי, he will immediately interrupt me, ויאמר, and he'll say, אני לא חייב לך כלום, I don't owe you anything. ואולי הוא גם יזרוק אותי החוצה, he might even throw me out. אבל אני אומר לו, but what I say to him, אני יודע שאתה לא חייב לנו כלום. I know that you don't know me anything, אבל אנחנו מבקשים ממך. But we're asking you. We're asking you. צריך לחשוב על זה ולדעת בעומק הלב. You have to think about this and know in the depth of the heart. לא מגיע לי, אבל הקדוש ברוך הוא רוצה ומוכן לתת לי. I don't deserve it, but God is ready and wanting to give me. אתם מבינים? You understand what's being said here? כל השאלה היא, the entire question is, איך אני עומד לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא בראש השנה? How am I standing before God on Rosh Hashanah? איך אני מתראה לפניו? how do I look to him? How do I appear to him? And how do I look in my own eyes? It's all dependent on that. But it has to be completely true. Because as you know, I can deceive myself for 1,000 generations. But if I'm full of joy, and I'm full of faith that God is going to give me a good year, as who yitain, then He'll give.
There's no guarantees.
We're not even looking for guarantees. In other words, the real tzaddik, he doesn't think that he deserves it. You see, before you came in, I mentioned a famous street in Toronto. And
Tree?
street.
What street?
Jarvis. You heard of Jarvis?
Yeah, it's living.
Yeah, I know. So I was saying to Michal, it's like sort of like a little bit of a hoodlum street, you know. And I was saying to Michal, we could have ended up on Jarvis, right? So it's chesed chinam, it's Hashem's kindness that we didn't, right? But it's not such a simple thing that, you know, like you see never a homeless person, or you see somebody who's in trouble, and you know, it's easy to walk by and say, "Oh, you know, I'm better than them," but that's not the truth. You don't know why this person is living through what they're living through, and you don't and you can't even really say that, you know, that you're better than them, or that you got more because you deserve more. If you're a real tzaddik, you don't feel that you deserve anything. You believe that is all a free gift from Hashem.
There's an English expression for that.
Yeah.
There, but for the grace of God.
Therefore, right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right?
But you have to very strongly believe.
You have to believe that. That's right. So, and so this last line that we just read, Reb Shlomo said, "But if I'm full of joy and full of faith that Hashem is going to give me a good year, He's going to give me." Now, what's it got to do with being full of joy? So Reb Shlomo also, like, you know, like says, if you have that bookmark, right, that quote, if you're not full of joy, you're not really one with God. In other words, that means when you're really one together with Hashem, then how could you not be b'simcha, right? If you're not b'simcha, you're not completely with Hashem. That's why you're not b'simcha.
It's very hard to do. When things are going well, you can jump to the sky. But chas v'sholom, it's something.
We know, we agree with you 100%. It's very hard to do. Agree with you 100%. You know that you know, I was. By the way, I don't know if you know, go when you have time, go on YouTube, punch in Shlomo Karlebach, Rosh Hashanah, and so on. There's lots of stuff. So I saw a piece yesterday where he's talking about what does it mean to be, what is the real meaning of being a religious Jew, right? And he's talking about, like, you know, in his earlier years, he would meet, like, you know, like religious Jews, very religious Jews, and, like, you know, and what was their religiosity? And the point of this is not to put anybody down, so don't misunderstand me, okay? But their religiosity was getting expressed in, like, that they're so strictly kosher, etc., etc. And all that's important. But at the same time, oh, I can't stand this one, I can't stand that one, I hate these people, I hate those people. And Reb Shlomo was like thinking to himself, that's what it means to be a religious Jew, is that you're being strictly kosher, but at the same time, you hate this one and you hate that one, and so on. He says, no, that's not what it means to be really religious. To be really religious is that you really believe that there's a creator, that Hashem is the creator, and you really believe that every person is worthy, and you love every person. That's really religious. Of course, also kosher. You have to keep kosher. Hashem wants you to keep kosher, but to be truly religious is to love every one of Hashem's children, because you really and to really believe that every person has tremendous good in them. Maybe it's very concealed, right? Maybe it's very concealed, but it's there. And like we were learning yesterday, the story with Reb Levi Yitzchak Berditchever. That was yesterday we did that,
Yes,
where he stole,
yesterday.
Where he stole all the sins, right?
Yeah.
But why would anybody do that? Why would somebody go and steal somebody else's sins and say to God, I'll pay for it.
Love.
I'll take responsibility.
From love.
You have to, mamish, really love every person, right? It's like, yeah.
So, at Tzaddik Amor, he believes, even though it's not, I don't deserve it, other people don't deserve it, but Hashem is a gracious, loving, forgiving God, and He's going to give me a good year, give us a good year. I believe it with all my heart, with joy.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees, because the next year, with all that belief,
a tzaddik
the person could
is
die,
not
his father could die,
asking.
his daughter, his son could die. There could be 2 million Jews killed in the Holocaust in the next year. It happened. I'm talking about something that already happened, and I could believe it. How do I make that? How can I say a good year when those kinds of things happen?
Oh, that's your question.
That's
I'm trying to understand what your question is. Well, the thing is that it's not for us to judge and evaluate. We believe that nothing bad comes from Hashem. That's why the Gemara says, "Kishem shemevarchim ala tov, kach mevarchim ala ra." The same way that we make a blessing over the good, that we bless God for the good, we bless Him also for the bad. Because good and bad is just a matter of how we perceive it. But as far as from Hashem, it's all good. It's faith. You're asking me a question to demonstrate in a visible way something that we accept on faith. And I can't.
You gave a good answer.
Okay? I can't do that. Elie Wiesel has a story about that. Michal, take a drink, it's good for you. Tonight is the Baal Shem Tov's birthday and the Baal Rebbe's birthday also. Yeah, tonight, Chai Elul. So, he tells the story about one afternoon in Auschwitz, 3 great rabbis made a Besdin and they put God on trial. And their conclusion was that they found God guilty. In other words, according to what's written in the Chumash, they said, this doesn't make any sense. And then it was time to daven mincha, and they davened mincha. So how do you explain that? And the pshat is and from a rational perspective, you can come to one conclusion, but that's not a reason to deny what we believe, because we realize that there's so much more. There's so much more that we don't know, that we don't see. And if we would see everything, we just wouldn't have any free choice either. We wouldn't. Okay? Right? That's the Indian. Let's read one more paragraph. And what says they do, I want you to know, זה ממש שורש כל הכל. This is the root of everything. הקדוש ברוך הוא ברא את העולם לא בגלל שמגיע לנו. God created the world not because we deserve it. ואפילו לא בגלל שאנחנו מקיימים תורה ומצוות, and not even because we do Torah and mitzvahs. אלא ממש חסד חינם. It's free kindness. In other words, it's kindness for no reason. Okay. The Zohar says that before the soul came down to this world, it was also being nourished in heaven. Right? So what did the soul have to come down to this world for? So the Zohar says that there's two kinds of breads. There's the bread of shame, and there's the bread that you earn. Right?
Bread?
That you earn.
Bread, earn.
Right? The gift to the soul is that Hashem is giving the soul the opportunity to earn its nourishment rather than to be nourished without having done anything to earn it.
Call that shame?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you didn't do anything to get it. It's like, why when you grew up, why did you want to go out into the world? Because you don't want to be you don't want to be fed by your parents the rest of your life. You want to know that you're a full being and that you can stand on your feet. And the Gemara says a person would prefer to have one measure of his own instead of 9 measures that are given to him by somebody else. Right? And so you need to have, because otherwise there's no self-esteem, there's nothing, why do you want to do something? Because you want to do something, but that's a gift. In other words, it's a gift that Hashem created, this setup that we can actually do something and earn our keep. That's chesed chinam. It's a gift that Hashem is giving me to be able to actually do something and to achieve something.
So in order to show our gratitude to God, we will need to do something to earn it. And the way we earn it is by doing the mitzvah.
Yes. Okay, so we'll continue Mr. Shem tomorrow, yeah? Or not tomorrow, I mean, on Yom Hamishi. Yeah. You still going to be here, Yom Hamishi? Yeah. When do you start on the farm?
Hopefully Monday.
Monday. And then you're going to come back for Rosh Hashanah? Or are you going to be there?
I'm not sure. I'll see how it's going.